We are back and talking about Anthony Richardson and his pro day that had everyone in the media losing their minds because we're in a bit of a downtime and we have to have stuff to talk about when it's all said and done. I'm not going to say he'll be a bust or anything, this Anthony Richardson, because he seems to have the work ethic and the mindset to improve the deficiencies in his game that are clearly there. Obviously, there's a reason he threw for 53% completion percentage, and it's not just because 53% completion is not just because of your receivers. You can throw around 60 if your receivers stink. I'll tell you that right now. There were some serious flaws to how he threw the ball. He's going to need to sit for a while and learn some stuff. But also, we did not learn a damn thing from watching Richardson at the Combine or his pro day for that matter. Yet even with that fact, people in sports media predictably got hyped up about Richardson looking like a crazy athlete, intentionally throwing and hitting the roof in the Florida facility, doing the handspring or whatever you call it, the gymnastics move where he did like a front flip or whatever the hell you call that sort of maneuver he did. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know. I'm not really totally impressed with all that stuff because we already knew he was a crazy athlete. If you even followed college football or SEC football in particular, even a little bit, or if you follow any of the preseason rhetoric coming in even a little bit, hell, even after the first week, Anthony Richardson, we just knew, damn, he had some crazy athletic measurables and he's going to absolutely blow some people away at the Combine. What do you know? That's exactly what happened there. People are going to act like this is big news, and you know what? We got to trade up and get Anthony Richardson. We need to take Anthony Richardson, maybe not number one overall, but I mean we got to trade up and get this guy because someone's going to get him, and you know he's a surefire prospect. I mean just look at Zach Wilson. That turned out real well, and we have truly learned nothing from Zach Wilson or any one of the countless players who shine at their pro day but ended up being a complete bust anyways. I think one thing that pops into mind, I think it was Mel Kiper effusively talking about Jimmy Clausen, saying that he'd retire if Jimmy Clausen ended up being a bust. I think Jimmy Clausen was another one of those guys that had a fantastic pro day. You can't, I mean, the pro day is even less reliable than the Combine at this point. The pro day is like in a dictatorial regime, like say in North Korea, where they're taking a camera in and they're walking you through a grocery store. Look at all these stocked shelves. Look at how prosperous we are in our communist system in North Korea. Look at what true communism can do for the people when, you know, they're not showing you. They just moved all of the produce in the entire store to one tiny little section, and they're just showing you what they want to show you. That's precisely what these pro days are right here. They're just putting out propaganda, showing you only what they want to show you, and conveniently shying away from the things that they don't. You got to see Anthony Richardson's cannon arm. You got to see his explosive athleticism, and that's pretty much all you got to see. We didn't learn a damn thing. People are going to tell you we learned something, but take it from me, if you're new to this whole sports rigmarole, if you will, pro days are meaningless. Combine is mostly meaningless for quarterbacks. Nothing truly matters outside of the interviews and the college game tape. Also the situation they go to. Nothing outside of those three things really matters in the grand scheme of evaluating quarterbacks. And you know what? Most of that stuff is completely over our heads to even analyze. Also, the interview stuff, outside of what we're hearing leaked from different team officials, we don't even know. We don't have cameras in those rooms. We don't know how those things actually went. I mean, there's some weird sort of. I had a little back and forth with one Arif Hassan, on prominent Vikings fan, and well, I don't know if he's a Vikings fan or just covers the Vikings. Either way, had a little back and forth with Arif Hassan talking about on Twitter about like the weird narrative surrounding Will Levis, and he brought up a good point. I thought, I mean, there were some weird sort of quotes coming out from Colin Cowherd in particular about teams don't like him or whatnot, all this sort of stuff. On one hand, I was like, okay, this is Colin Cowherd, and he's basically made his entire career off of making inflammatory statements. And again, this is something we all learned from, maybe not we all, but we learned from the professional wrestling world. Any sort of engagement is good engagement. And, Twitter's been on that kick for a long time. You know what? The people that are the loudest are often the angriest. And you know what? A good way to make people angry is just to make statements that are abjectly ridiculous and get dunked on in the process. I mean, Colin Cowherd has made millions on millions and millions of dollars of just standing under the hoop and getting by any random passerby that happens to come around. And you know what? I respect him for making that career out of that. I'm not going to traffic in that sort of stuff. But at the same time, these are some weird sort of narratives kind of circulating about Will Levis at this point. It's really outside of that. I kind of delineated from the Anthony Richardson thing on the whole, but I think a lot of the information. That's all to say, we don't know anything about what happened in these meeting rooms at the combine. We don't know what happened behind the scenes at any of these pro days, and those are the most important things. So I'm just going to shy away from all that sort of stuff until draft day, unless we get some serious sort of intel coming out that some team is going to pick whoever at the number one pick, or I guess it would probably be the Panthers there because they're the one with the number one pick. But that is all to say, a lot of stuff you're hearing right now is just total BS from teams trying to either drop a guy's draft prospects down so they can get him. I think that's a lot of what you're seeing with Will Levis. I think specifically the Raiders down there at 7 are just hoping, probably like, hey, put out some bad information. Like, hey, if Will Levis can come out with a gas mask bong video, I think that would be the perfect scenario for the Raiders and any of those teams picking in the back end of the top 10 that want to have him slide all that way. So again, just know that every bit of information that comes out at this time of year, pre-draft leading up to the draft, it's coming out for a reason, and that's generally always the case. But especially right now, teams are putting out information about these players for a reason. It's because they want to get these players, whether it's later in the draft or trying to throw off the scent so they can draft them before anyone's really expecting.